days per warehouse, because we've never had this many warehouses, but we have people in place that see trends, and their job is to see a trend. Once they see that trend, they're like, wait a minute, if they're using this much now, before we run out, we need to get another 100 or 200 cases, so that way it can last for the whole system.
And how often is your supply order?
Say it again.
How often is your supply order? Like, do you have a supply order like every Thursday? Like, how does that happen?
So every hospital in my health system orders every day. We're ordering every day, because something that might last me 2 days does not last me 2 days anymore. It might last me a day now. So we get several shipments, several deliveries every day of supplies. I get about one big shipment in the morning. That's just regular, I say medical disposable supplies. And that's like your solutions, your needles, your blood pressure cuffs. Remember, every patient needs a blood pressure cuff, and they're disposable. So, to prevent infection. So a patient might go through 3 or 4 of those a day. So you want to make sure you have enough of those. Like, there's a lot of little things that, people are talking about your PPE, but there's a lot of other little things that go into caring for a patient besides just your PPE. There's a lot. And we have, we usually supply the ICUs, and now my hospital has become mostly ICU. So now I have more supplies than usual. I have nurses actually training to be in the ICU that they've never been in the ICU before.
So basically, people are being thrown into positions that they're not really ready for, but they have to be ready for, because
and I'm not going to lie, we've taken each challenge on, and we've definitely, we all get anxious, we're all driving each other crazy, we're going to snap at each other, but we've taken every single challenge in my site, and I feel like we've definitely kicked ass. Like, we've opened up new floors in a matter of days, where something would take us probably weeks to do, and the site has pulled together, and we'll have a brand new ICU floor up in 4 days, and we're rocking, ready to take more COVID positive patients, because if we can't help them get better and be able to get back into the world, then we're not helping anybody.
Can I also ask you, shout out to everybody who just tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just going to kind of get into some of the comments.
Baby.
Hi, Blanca. How are you, baby?
Baby.
Hi, Carmisha. How are you, my love? Thanks for tuning in. My label is black. Let them know, Janelle. I guess we're just going to get into it. We have a few people. Love you, cuz. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have Janelle here. She's sharing her story from not only being in the front line. She's in the front line. She's experienced COVID-19. She's still living through COVID-19. In our first session, you can go back and watch the first live, but she was basically explaining her symptoms, how she got it, what's going on in the hospital now that she's not there, what's going to transpire when she goes back to work on Monday. She has another test to take, her kids and her home life. So she's been sharing her story, and we're so grateful that you've been able to share your story with us so far this evening. Hats off to you. I just want to I just want to ask about, because the ICU floor got me, like, you guys have all different sorts of patients in the hospital already, living with different things. Is your hospital specifically, or your section of it specifically for, like cancer patients or some type of, how does that work?
So we're lucky in the fact that we have several buildings. We have one building that is mostly all COVID. We have some psych wards in the building as well, but because they're very tight, security can't just walk into a psych ward. So there's not a lot of interaction going in and out that psych ward. So they're pretty much safe, thank goodness. If they happen to get someone from the outside, at this point, they're usually going to get tested, because they don't want to take the chance of getting someone who's mentally ill that's been outside and then testing people who's been there for a month or so and getting them sick. Now you'll have a pandemic on one floor. So everyone gets tested right away as far as like certain patients on certain floors. Now, a lot of the patients who end up being COVID positive, a lot of times they need ICU, and ICU is intensive care unit, that just means that you're going to be closely monitored. You have more machines on you. You have highly trained nurses who know how to look for specific things. So when you're in the ICU, my hospital only has about 2 ICU floors. Now we have more than 2 ICU floors because we want to be able to, we have maybe like 4 or 5 now at least. So we want to be able to take as many patients as possible and be able to care for them and not give them half care by putting them on a regular floor, and we can't get the machines to you, we can't hook them up because ICU also has certain type of machines and certain oxygens that's already plugged into the wall that's going to help this patient. God forbid if they code means I'm trying to put it not in hospital terms, but coding means like you're going down basically, and they want to make sure that we have everything around that patient that they're gonna need. God forbid something happens. So a lot more floors have turned into ICU floors, so we can care more for these patients. You don't want to put you just don't want to take that chance. So better ICU floor than a regular floor.
Now, can I ask you, thanks for everybody that's been tuning in. I just want to ask you, and if anybody has any questions, please leave them in our comments because we do want to address everything that everybody is asking this evening. I want to ask you about, because today I've seen something that was a little disturbing to me, and the funeral homes are now packing up, and they're starting to say that you can smell the dead bodies in the street now that they're piling up in the trucks and stuff.
It's very sad.
On a regular
the funeral homes are not ready. Funeral homes are not equipped to handle as much death as what's going on. Like, working in the field that we work in, like funeral homes and life expectancy fields, like in the hospital, funeral homes, rehabilitation centers, things like that, that you're going to see death. Like, that's just life. You're going to see death in the field that we've chosen to work in. Now, the amount of death that we're seeing, no, we're not used to that. Nor do we want to get used to that. You don't want to get used to seeing this many people passing away in front of you because you went into work thinking like you're going to save as many people as possible. And when everybody is passing away and there's no step-by-step on what they can do, it's sad. We're not ready for it. Now, these funeral homes, unfortunately, because hospitals are getting over, it's horrible to say, we're getting so many expired patients. Now, as everyone has noticed, we're getting refrigerated trucks to hold more patients.
Have you experienced actually visualizing that? Like, is that something?
I've seen it.
How do you feel?
I get very anxious. I shut my office door because where the refrigerated trucks are, unfortunately, where my office is located, they have to pass these bodies back and forth for like a good hour or two. And you see it for a good hour or two of just people going on the truck because the morgue fills up during the day and they have to empty out that morgue every day. You don't want to not be able to store a family member improperly. Now, as far as the funeral homes, they don't hold this many people normally. My morgue in my house, in my site, only holds about 20 people. It's never full. That morgue gets full every day. It's never full normally. So every day they have to empty it out because 20 more people, God forbid, or however God decides to see it, will pass away during that nighttime. And then in the next day, they have to take those people out from there and properly put them in. And we have 2 refrigerated trucks. We don't have 1. We have 2. So that's to me, it's very humbling because I go home and I'm just like, I'm so thankful that I've not, been to the point where I feel like I'm going to pass away. I don't have tightness in my chest. I don't have those horrible symptoms that I read and see with my own eyes. So I'm very grateful. But it's a humbling experience. You don't want, you're going to see people pass. But how do you, it's hard to keep yourself sane when you see that many people pass.
I want to ask you we're getting into that. How do you keep yourself sane? But also, with the bad, we have to take the good. What are your success rates going on in the hospital now?
My one site, recovering? And my one particular site, and we're small. We're only, compared to most hospitals in my system, we only have like 2 or 3 buildings, and that's a small hospital. So we have close to 600 recoveries, and that's including amazing. elderly people. That's including really young people.
Do you know your
So
oldest person that has survived? Like the
in the
oldest and the
90s,
youngest? In the
in
90s.
the
That's
90s.
amazing.
That's
That's
amazing to
amazing.
me.
That's
I had
amazing.
one, we actually posted up the the I'm sorry, the promotion team, the marketing team, they posted up on their site. But they actually have patients who they'll stand in the lobby and thank because we're giving you every time a
I
person is
love
able
that.
to be discharged, we're rounding applause. We're like, yes, people will come downstairs. Yes, you get to go home. It's amazing. Like we're cheering you on. We want you to be hyped because we're
That's
excited.
good.
We're sending
Yes.
you home this way and not sending you home, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So everyone gets excited, and that just is like, oh, that's like a
A
big wake
relief,
up
and it's
call.
and
Yeah,
honestly speaking, that's like the homage, and like,
yeah,
you know, that chip on your shoulder that might be like, man, we are losing so many people, but these success
yeah,
stories
yeah.
give
You can
you
see.
that appreciation of knowing
I
that your
think
hard
in
work
my whole
doesn't go
system,
unnoticed.
we've actually well over 2,000 people at least in my entire health system have gone home. Because if in my site we're close to 600, I'm sure my other sister hospitals there is nothing. I'm so grateful that we've been able to make the strides that we've been making to develop processes just in one day to try to help patients. Because without these people trying to make new processes and getting input from the nurses who are on the floor dealing with the patient and then telling us, hey, materials, supply chain, this is the kind of things we're going to need, we wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as for me, I get anxious if I feel like I'm not able to help someone in the hospital because I feel like what if that floor that I can't get something to has my family member on there and I've had family in the hospital and we have family that's sick. What if my family is there and supply chain doesn't bring up this item that they need? I feel anxious about that.
You
So I'm
treat
just like,
every person that walks in like a
you
family
have
member,
to.
and
You have to.
that's a blessing of knowing that you go to work every day and your purpose, you know, your purpose, and you
You
have a
have
plan,
to.
and your vision is to ensure that every person that walks in there is treated like family, and we
Yeah,
love you for that, because a lot of people
it's
see it as
true.
a dollar, and a lot of people
And
don't
that's
understand
fine. We
that,
get anxiety. As far as like my site goes and my hospital goes and the whole health system, we take it to a whole new level. We're going to let you know that you better give us our goddamn products or we're going to have a problem.
we
Because
fighting.
we need all of it. We
That's
need
good.
all the products. If we could get all of it, we're going to get all of it. And then they stock it in one big warehouse and then they siphon off to all the sister hospitals. We all get our deliveries of the vital things that we need every day. And I'm very grateful for that. I don't know how I would be able to feel not feeling comfortable working for a site that doesn't take things like that seriously. And I'm happy that my hospital and my health system, we do. There's a whole team of us. If we find that the original item is not available, okay, we need a substitute item. And these are the things that we need in that substitute item, and we need the substitute item by tomorrow.
Can we get like an example of an essential item versus a substitute that you guys are like, the supply is not?
So we have this thing called um okay, let me see. A temperature Foley tray. All right. This is one thing that we have been like, we are dying for this product.
So if you have it out there, or a hospital that knows that
No,
needs
no,
it,
we have it. We
get
have
to
it.
those DMs.
But
We need
the
that.
first couple of days that we didn't have it, we still had stuff in the house, but we can foresee our own forecast. So this news never hits the nurses. We never want the nurses or the patients to feel like we don't
We
have
don't have
product.
it. Got it.
I always got it, or
Got
I'm
it.
gonna find it.
Got it.
You're not gonna have a
Janelle,
no,
you're the
no.
plug. You're the
Right.
plug. You
We're the
got it.
plug. Materials is the plug. And if you have a good relationship, if the materials team has a good relationship with the whole site, we're gonna make sure we always good. Hey Lionel. So we're gonna always make sure we're always good. So one item we were really stressing over is a temperature Foley tray. So I can't. This
Go
is
get
one of
them
my
needles.
own supervisors, which is now one of my closest, dearest friends in the whole world.
Hi. Thank you for joining us tonight.
So We were going crazy. We had stuff in the house. We had cases in the back, but we know our forecast. So now we're thinking, holy crap, the weekend is coming. We can't have this. Right away, the whole team. We need to call this person. We need to call this person. We need this. Call the manufacturers. We need this. We need it by Friday morning. When I tell you by Friday morning, we have it. Because that's how hard we go to make sure we have our things. If I don't have the original, I'm telling you, I'm on the phone with the same company. You give me my substitute. I need it to be 14 French. I need it to be temperature because that temperature reads to the nurse, that probe, but reads to the nurse if this person has a fever or not. If they can't tell if they have a fever or not, we don't know how to treat you.
Absolutely.
We might forget to give you a fever reducer. A patient could go into a seizure because their fever is too high. So you want to make sure you have the thing.
Let me ask you about like the distancing and the social distancing in the hospital with all of those people in there. How are those precautions being taken in the hospital?
I can't go for the whole hospital because as far as I know, everyone I come in contact with, even the VP, we elbowing. Hey, what up? What up? We're going to do the foot tap, all of us. And we're all in the same boat. So no one feels like, oh, they didn't handshake me. No, we're all in the same. We all know what's going on. As far as my team goes, we actually usually every day we have a team huddle. And anyone who works in a team in retail, whatever, you guys know what a team huddle is. Right before your shift, you break it down, you come together, you give out the information for the day, y'all break up.
Difference is y'all don't put all hands in. It's like
no, we don't even do that. So now the new thing is we turn the team huddle into a conference call. Because I get, what up, Lee? I get that, you know, people feel social distancing. And I get that even my own staff, we love each other, but we don't want to be around each other during Corona.
Understood.
Like, again, I was asymptomatic. I could have been sitting in this team huddle getting everyone sick. And that's not what I want. That's not what they want. So they raised concerns that they didn't want to be in a huddle. So we tried one huddle where we tried the distancing. And I'm leading this huddle and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because I want everyone to hear me. And I can't, and I want to hear their feedback, but we're all yelling at each other now because we're so far apart.
And that's not successful at all.
Right. So one of the staff members had an idea of the conference call. I'm like, that's a great idea. Let's do the conference call. We all welcome ideas from all of us. So just because I'm management doesn't mean that I don't want to hear your idea. You're on the floor. I'm here to support you. So what is your idea? Let's try it. Why not?
Thanks, Tabby. We love you. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. If you guys love what you're hearing and love what you're seeing and just want to show support for Janelle, just throw some hearts in the comments. We just want to see your love. Please show some love. Also, we want you guys to ask any questions, any concerns. I know I wanted to just touch on based on one person because somebody asked. We got into the 90-year-olds who survived, but I know somebody wants to ask about the youngest survivor of COVID.
The youngest that I've seen, I'm sure we've had younger, but what I've seen was actually like a 19-year-old.
Okay.
She was 19 and she had to be put into a coma. Wow. We had to like put her down. She was in there for about a month, but thankfully through people, being so vigilant on their jobs, through even just having the supplies, the nurses there, even the EVS workers at my site is the bomb. So I just love working where I work. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we all have our days, but I really like my site. I like what I do. And this girl was able to go home. She came in, she could not breathe. She came in already thinking that she had corona, and she did. But it was so bad, she had to get put to sleep for a few days. And I saw her story, and she was like 19 or 20 years old. And that to me was the saddest one. Because I'm like 19 or 20. My oldest is 17. What am I supposed to do? Like, absolutely. Oh my God. Like, I have one about to go to college. What am I, like, oh, you're like a baby to me. Yeah. 19 or 20, and you was that bad. And that's the misconception is that, oh, you're young.
I'm young. I have a young immune system.
I have a young immune system. It's only hitting people who are older. It's not only hitting people who are older. My son is 7 with asthma. I can say it a million times. God forbid if he gets it though, I will be so scared because that is a respiratory disease attacking a person with already a bad respiratory system.
Absolutely.
So no,
Absolutely. Do
it
you
doesn't matter your age at all. Corona will hit you, and it
say
will
that
hit you.
again?
It will
Say
hit
it
you,
again.
and you will not know what happened. I'm very thankful that my symptoms were not as bad, and I will always say that because I will never want karma. I will be so grateful to the day I die that I did not get the symptoms that everybody else is getting. I'm not in the hospital. I was able to quarantine at home, but when it hits you, it's gonna hit you, and you can't stop it. Just because you're 17 doesn't mean anything. We sent home a 90-something-year-old man, and according to everybody's stats, he's supposed to pass away. We sent him home.
Wow.
And according to everyone's stats, a girl who was 19 is not supposed to be in the hospital for a month.
Case that
So,
the animals are being affected too. I did see something
yeah,
about dogs the other day.
there
Dogs
was
and
cats that
cats.
were affected. The cats were affected and the people were affected as well in the home. So you just can't, if it's going to hit you, it's going to hit you. You just got to be careful. I always tell people, I say it again, it's you from the inside out that's going to help.
I
Not,
actually I actually have like a little, I just say it out loud. I mean, I don't honestly believe it, but what I'm saying is that I feel like, honestly speaking, because this is the second round, I feel like everybody has a little sprinkle of
I think so.
corona in them. I don't
I
feel
think so.
like
I
I
think
think
everyone is
everybody
going
has
to
been
get it.
touched by this, and it's just a little bit of sprinkle on
Yep.
everyone. It's just how we're being affected by it.
Right.
How long do you think this wave is gonna go? Do you think it's gonna
Oh my
go
goodness.
more? Do you
Honestly,
think we're getting hit with a second worse? Like,
I think we're
what
going
is
to get hit with a second wave. I honestly feel like me looking and I'm seeing like the trends. I feel like once everything opens back up, we're going to get hit with a second wave because there's a lot of asymptomatic people, including myself, who don't know that they could be positive. And the only way we would know is if you get tested. And I encourage everyone, if you know that there's a site that can test you, I encourage you to go. Especially if it's not in the ED, if it's in like an ambulatory care center or just a center that just happens to have opened up, I would definitely encourage people to go and get tested because you don't know.
Blanca
Will the
says?
second wave be worse? I
And
think the
do you
second
think?
wave won't be as bad, but I do think it's going to happen because I feel like with the second wave, now that we've got a grip on somewhat how to handle it and kind of the supplies that are needed, the second wave will probably be handled a lot smarter and a little bit more calmer than the first wave. When this first happened, we didn't know what the hell was going on. Everybody is corona. We need more of this. We need more of that. We need more PPE. No one knew we were going to run through this PPE. Ty, I do have it right now, and I'm getting tested again on Monday to make sure. I've been in quarantine for 14 days now, and I found out at work I got tested. But as far as like the second wave, I feel like we'll have a better grip on it. We'll know like, all right, look,
Because
we'll
awareness is
see the
key.
trend early. We'll see the trend earlier because we've already experienced it. This is like with the flu. We saw the trend. We've experienced it. We know how to handle it.
Got it.
So the same way with COVID. We see the trend, even in people in the support systems. Once you see the trend, it's like once you know better, you do better. Now we
Yeah.
have processes in place. We know how to react. We know what we would need to stock up on again. So it won't be as frantic and hectic as what we're going through right now.
And also being real as deadly as it is.
Yeah, because I think people will not underestimate it.
Got it.
I feel like people really underestimate it. And I remember there was a rumor that said, oh, Black people can't get it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Humans can get it.
First of all,
Human.
we have the highest rates in
Right.
death and COVID within,
Absolutely.
and we both are in the Black and Latino community. So being Black and Puerto Rican myself, and you as well, we both are the prime examples of someone who has
exactly
who can get
it.
it.
That's the dumbest assumption I could have ever heard. I'm like, wait, what? My hospital is in a spot where it's mostly African American and Latino. So my patient demographic is African American and Latino. There's some white, there's some, regular American, but I think people are definitely they underestimated so much how this can affect our communities. It's affecting our community's hard body because we're so on top of each other.
Hi, Chloe. Hey, baby. I have some little kids in here.
Oh,
A few of my babies are
awesome.
in here tuning in, and I just want to tell you guys to stay safe, stay at home, stay focused, stay active, stay
Yes.
busy. I want to also ask, if there's
Absolutely.
anybody in here that is an essential worker on the front line or at home, I want to talk to the team as
Share.
well. Please share your story. If you guys are
Share your
interested in just
story.
sharing your story, I'll send you the questionnaire DM. We'll get in contact with each other and make this
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Yep.
So they say,
It's good to know.
Shar is saying that she thinks that the second wave will be over by October, November.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like, how long do you feel before America starts to open again? Because Georgia was our
I
like
feel like for
first
me,
trial.
we should not open, and this is my opinion, we shouldn't even start thinking about the reopen until closer to the end of May. And that's just my opinion. That's just, and I feel like end of May is discussion.
So like
Like that's not even like a real open.
one more month of like total off
Yeah.
off of
And
everything.
then we could start talking about it. Just because I feel like people are not quarantining the way they're supposed to be quarantining. Let's be for real.
I saw people lining up at their local restaurant getting to go, and the lines were like,
and I get it. Right, and they're that close to each other, and that's the problem. It's like if we were really quarantining the way we're supposed to, and that's the other thing, living in the country that we live in, we live in the United States. What is United States built on? Freedom, liberties, right? We are in charge of ourselves. We get to choose our government. I get it. I love it. I would not change my world. I would not change. However, in places like China where they're used to being told what to do by the government, and if the government says quarantine, what do? They quarantine. They stay their butts in the house because the government told them to. They don't even ask questions. Whereas we're being told quarantine for your own health and safety. We're giving you facts, and we have protesters in the street talking about my life, my body.